What would you do if you were searching for your biological father and found two men with nearly the same name who could fit the bill? And what if one of them slammed the door shut before you could even ask a single question? Today's story is about Tina, and I promise it's one that will leave you both stunned and heartbroken. My name is Lorie Cousin, and I'm a search angel with DNAngels. Before I forget, please support Tina and everyone searching for their truth by smashing that like button and leaving a yellow heart in the comments section. So, Tina came to DNAngels with a mystery that had haunted her for years. She didn't know who her biological father was. And more than that, she didn't even think he knew she existed. All she had was a possible name, Joseph. Now, Tina was born back in 1981, and being that she was born in 81, there was a good possibility that her biological father still could be living. So we got to work. We added many of her DNA matches to her tree, and we found two distinct branches. One led to her paternal grandfather, and the other led to her paternal grandmother. Once those two branches come together, we know one of those children is the man we are looking for, Tina's biological father. Tina's grandparents had 8 children, of which 5 were sons. Of all the sons, we only had one DNA match who was a descendant of one of the sons, and Tina only matched that match as a cousin and not a half sibling. So, therefore, that son could not have been Tina's father, so he was ruled out. Now, that just left 4 other sons, and one of those 4 sons had to be her father. Now, remember, Tina had been given the name Joseph as her possible father, and really that's all the information that she had ever been told. And wouldn't you know it, one of those sons was in fact named Joseph. And so, of course, that gave us a strong lead. Um, that's what I like to call a clue. Now, I can't put blinders on and just automatically assume that Joseph was her father because that's the name that she was given, and one of those sons happened to be named Joseph. Because without DNA matches descending from any of those other brothers, this is really as far as I could go. And Tina was going to need to reach out to some people to try to get target testers from descendants of some of those brothers. So we did agree that the most logical place to start was with Joseph. And fortunately, Joseph was still living. Now, I provided contact information for Joseph to Tina, and this is information that we get from publicly available databases. And with encouragement and having the DNA science to back her up, Tina bravely and respectfully decided to reach out. Now, when she called the number we found for Joseph, she didn't speak directly to him. Instead, his stepdaughter answered. Now, Tina explained who she was, why she was calling, and asked if Joseph might speak with her. She even sent a picture of herself and provided details about her life, where she was born, where she grew up, when she was born, her occupation, things like that to break the ice. Now, the stepdaughter said that she'd check and get back with her. And the stepdaughter did just that. She did contact Tina, and really the answer was just crushing. The stepdaughter said, Joseph told me that there's absolutely no way that he could be your father, but you might want to try his older brother. He was born a year before, and his name is Joey. Wait, what? Joey? Yep, that's right. This family had 2 sons with virtually the same name, Joseph and Joey. Like, who does that? Except maybe George Foreman, but for the rest of us, that's pretty wild, don't you think? Now, I've heard of families naming a child um, like a later child with the same name of a child who had died as an infant a few years before. So maybe there's like a Mary who died when she was one year old. And then 10 years later, one of the other children that they have, they decide to name Mary. Maybe that's an honor to the first Mary who had died, or maybe it's an honor to whoever the Mary was from generations back who the children were being named for. So I have heard of that, but how often are two children living and only a year apart given the same or almost same name? So I did not see that coming. So I went back to Ancestry. I plugged Joey into the family, and sure enough, I was able to generate some hints and confirm that there was, in fact, a Joey in addition to Joseph and all of the other children. So Grandma and Grandpa had nine children, not eight, and six were sons, not five. And two of the sons were named Joseph and Joey. You really can't make this up. So now, sadly, Joey had passed away back in 2009. But fortunately, he had two known documented children from previous relationships. And so now that meant there's a new path forward. Tina can respectfully reach out to them, her potential half siblings, and ask if one of them would consider taking a DNA test. And if they do and the results match, it would confirm that Joey and not Joseph was Tina's biological father. But that's not really the end of the story. Let's go back to Joseph for a moment. When his stepdaughter called Tina back to deliver the message that he was not her father, she didn't just say that. She also said, Joseph also wanted me to tell you that he does not want you to ever call here again. He doesn't want to talk to you or have anything to do with you. So not only did he reject the possibility of being her father, but he refused even the smallest amount of compassion, even though Tina's his niece at the least, right? The daughter of his own brother. Now, this kind of rejection isn't rare in our work, but it never gets easier. I really feel like this is the hardest part. The easy part is usually building the tree and figuring out, the family, at least down to the brothers, who the father is. But the hardest part is the client making that connection with the new family. So to to be rejected is just heartbreaking. These aren't distant cousins. These aren't third cousins, fourth cousins, or even beyond. These are close family members. Tina was not asking for money. She wasn't asking for a seat at the Thanksgiving table. She was simply hoping to connect, to understand who she came from, maybe a story or two about her biological father, maybe a picture, and to be told before you can even speak for yourself, never call again. That's heartbreaking. So here's my question for you, my listeners. Why do you think that someone would react this way? Is it shame, guilt, fear of secrets being exposed? Um, or is it just mean-spiritedness? Because to me, it feels unkind, definitely unjustified, and very unnecessary. Tina is not to blame for how she came into this world. She is not responsible for the actions of the adults. None of our clients are. And yet, so many are met with slammed doors, unanswered messages, or silence, all for asking the question, where do I come from? Searching for half their identity, filling in the missing pieces of their genetic puzzle. So I want to hear from you. Please leave a comment and tell me, what do you think of Joseph in the way that he reacted, or why he reacted in this way? Have you or someone you know experienced rejection while searching for family? And Finally, what are your thoughts on naming two sons, Joseph and Joey? Now, Tina's story is still unfolding, and we hope one day she gets a firm answer and maybe even a new relationship with one of her paternal half siblings. But for now, let's just show her some support. Smash that like button, leave a yellow heart in the comments to show Tina and all of our DNA clients that they are not alone. We are here, we see you, and we believe that everyone deserves the truth. Thank you once again for listening. My name is Lorie. I'm a search angel with DNAngels, and I'll see you next time with another story of discovery, heartbreak, and sometimes healing. Until then, stay kind, stay curious, and never stop searching.